Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Ian Chiquino, and I'm going to cast a game today on Shakiros Plateau between ROONRAZOR as our blue Protoss player in the top left part of the map, and on the bottom right part of the map we have IMNestea. This is a game from the Korean server, and Nestea either is really bad at macro because he's not making any drones, or he's going to go for a 6-pool on Shakiros Plateau. Now, 6-pooling against a Protoss player on Shakiros Plateau, I think it's not as crazy as it sounds because a lot of Protoss players really like the fast expo on this map. They like to Nexus first and go for a Forge build. And we're going to see what it looks like. ROONRAZOR is going to go for a Forge opening here. Now, let's see if Nestea actually has these timings down well enough that he can actually get in there in time. I'm not quite sure whether or not a 6-pool does get there in time, but we're going to find out this game because if anybody can 6-pool, it's going to be Nestea, one of the very best Zerg players in the world. And ROONRAZOR's chatting it up. And Nestea, oh man, he's gonna be. That's funny. This is gonna be funny here. I want to see how this is actually gonna go down. Nestea sitting this Overlord down here to the bottom right. It should get there in time for whenever these Zerglings finish, so that he knows which place he needs to attack. So Overlord should get there close enough in time. All he has to do is look and see this edge of the mineral patch here. Whether or not that's where his opponent is, but he's going to scout here anyway. ROONRAZOR is going to see his opponent is going to be 6-pulling him, and he's going to probably be like, "What, Nestea? Thought you were better than that." And now he sees it. He sees the 6-pull, and the Zerglings greet the probe, but the probe is going to have to get out of there. And now we can see right now that the Overlord is going to get vision of this very soon, and you can see right there. Okay, he's not at the space, so he knows he's going to have to attack the top base, and frantically, he's going to put up a gateway and a forge, and he's just going to have to throw down another gateway. Oh, he's actually throwing down a pylon. So the weak point in this base here is going to be the pylons, of course. So we're going to have ROONRAZOR kind of double up here. Maybe throw down a gateway. I'd probably throw up a gateway here just to be sure that does get up. And I actually would have thrown down a gateway here too, just because they have a lot more hit points. But he's going to have to build a cannon as soon as possible. He's going to have enough money. There it goes. There goes that cannon. And it looks like they're going to focus on this pylon and this gateway. We're going to see if Nestea can deal some damage here. What's he doing? He's making a queen, so it looks like Nestea is going to transition into macro. He's making some drones, so he figures the wall off is done. And if he's going to get in, he's going to get in, and if not, oh well. Looks like that pylon is going to fall, but his cannon is still powered, so ROONRAZOR doing the smart thing here, pulling some probes to defend this. He does still have a wall off with a cannon, and a pylon. And it looks like he's going to lose that gateway. No, he's not going to lose the gateway. Cannon gets done just in time. So for all of you out there that did know, you can Forge Expand against a 6-pool on this map. So I was kind of wondering if ROONRAZOR was going to hold that off or not, and it looks like he sure as hell did. And that probe is going to go do some scouting, and those Zerglings wish they had their Speedling upgrade because they're not going to catch that thing. He's going to run in here and scout this out. No problem, and it looks like Nestea is just going to throw down a hatch first, so now Nestea going for an expansion. After how many workers does he have here? 12 harvesters. Okay, so going for 18 hatch. He's going to scout that out, and now he's going to be forced to throw down his own nexus, of course. Not too far behind that hatchery, so he's not going to be too far behind here economic-wise, and he actually should be ahead probe-wise. Yeah, you can see if there's 17 versus 14. Oh, nope, only 16 now. They finally caught up to him. And this queen is going to be pumping drones for the time being, and Nestea is just a little bit behind, I would say, at this point, harvester-wise. Actually, nope, just caught up. But with these cannons up front, that's going to allow ROONRAZOR to be sitting pretty for the time being. So we have a lot of options here from our players. Nestea could either macro up just enough and then transition into like a mass Zergling Baneling and then go for some type of Baneling bust here at the front. As you can see here at the ramp, these two cannons are not powered by anything but this one. I'm pretty sure they're not in range of this one. You can see the edge there. I think this one pylon is powering both these cannons. So if he just went for a straight up Baneling bust, he could take him out, but no, Nestea is going to macro. He just threw up another hatchery, so they're going to go for another hatchery. That is a very safe move here from our Zerg player because, you know, he already invested so much money in these cannons. He's not going to build, you know, 4 gateways and then just going for an attack. Both players are doing the safe macro game from now on. So opening up a little bit aggressive there. But it looks like we're going to turn this into a macro game. And Nestea, look at all these drones down there. Those things are just filling up like crazy all over the place. Oversaturated for sure. He's going to have to transfer some down here. Another queen being produced. And Nestea just getting complete vision of his opponent's space. Look at this. He's got him surrounded. He got Overlord over here on the left. He's got 3 Zerglings here at the front. And Overlord in the back. Nestea just all over the place. So I didn't think it was actually possible to transition out of a 6 pool into a macro game. but it looks like it is. And ROONRAZOR kind of lucky he went with the Forge Gateway opening as opposed to the Nexus first, because that would have been deadly there. Looks like there's some sentries coming out for ROONRAZOR. He's got Cybernetics Core research on the way. Chrono boosting out some probes, of course, and a lot of drones coming out for IMNestea. I'm kind of curious what IMNestea's army composition is going to be to follow up this 6th pool. Is he going to make another 4th base here, or is he going to just start pumping out a bunch of units and kind of contain his opponents to contain his opponent to 2 base? I'm not quite sure. And we have a lot of warp gates now being warped in here. We have 4 more warp gates, so that's going to bring them to 5 total. Like we just had another one, so that's going to be 6 warp gate play. So there's not going to be too much more tech coming on here from ROONRAZOR. He's basically just going to produce enough probes to stay saturated and go for a strong 6 warp gate play here. Mostly warp gate units, of course. No robo at all. And I haven't even seen him place that. Has he got a forge upgrade yet? No, hasn't even started any upgrades for his forge. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. There's that upgrade coming along. It's kind of necessary if you're going to do a forge expand and you're going to transition into 6 warp gates. You might as well get a 1 attack upgrade or 1 armor upgrade, because you already have the forge, and it takes a while to build up your army with 6 warp gates. You're going to have to have a couple warp ins happen before you're ready to attack. And if you chrono boost out this +1 attack upgrade, that should be a pretty good timing for you. So we have a pylon way over here on the right side from ROONRAZOR. Just like to put those pylons on the edge of his map, and a lot more warp-ins coming, stalkers and sentries. It looks like he's only going to go on 3 gas here for this attack, and he's going to push out, take care of these Zerglings, which you can see there did not have the speed upgrade, but that speed upgrade just finished, and he's going to be forced to kill that photon cannon to get out of there. It looks like those stalkers were too fat to get through there, and they took out that photon cannon. And now looks like ROONRAZOR is going to go put on the pressure, and IMNestea has so many drones, but he does have 12 roaches being produced. So does he have burrow upgrade yet? No burrow upgrade yet. Isn't even at layer. So wow, 60 versus 46. So if he can hold this off, IMNestea should be doing pretty fine. Roaches are out, and they're going to have to focus for a while, killing that pylon very quickly. He's not going to have any reinforcements. Sentry's throwing out some good force fields, and trapping these guys here in the back. The Zealots run up in the front, taking those hits, dying for ire, and more force fields. Surprised he hasn't force fielded the ramp here. That's where most of the reinforcements come in. There he's going. He's going to have to pick up these up here. Wow, this pylon does actually get up. He's bringing in more units. Stalkers being warped in. So we have all those stalkers bringing up. We're getting low on sentries. He has no more force fields, but I don't think there's enough roaches to deal with all these stalkers. But IMNestea's producing units non-stop. Look at this, 10 Zerglings, 8 roaches coming out, and he's just going for it. ROONRAZOR, now he's starting the micro. There's only 3 or 4 roaches left, so you can easily take those out. And IMNestea is kind of in trouble here. He has no spine crawlers to speak of, and I don't know if he's going to be able to hold this up. We're probably going to see IMNestea switching to mostly Zerglings here at this point, if he does have enough larvae, because there isn't too many sentries out, and just stalkers and 1 or 2 zealots, but Zerglings are definitely going to be the unit he wants to go for here. There we do, 22 Zerglings coming out. So he notices the unit composition of ROONRAZOR is kind of sticking mostly to Stalker, and with all these Zerglings coming out, that's going to be a perfect unit to deal with this mass Stalker army he's got going on here. More attack coming to the top, more roaches here coming to the top, drones even being pulled out. He's just trying to buy as much time as possible to get these spine crawlers up that'll keep him alive. And those 22 Zerglings just spawned. And what do we got up here at the top? Putting another spine crawler at the top. And ROONRAZOR just needs to commit to killing a base. He should either go for that top base, force field that ramp, or go for an attack. It looks like he's splitting up his forces here. He's going to lose half of his army. Not working out too well for ROONRAZOR. He's going to lose most of this army. Zerglings, roaches pushing out. If he can kill that pylon, that's going to stop all reinforcements. Yes, IMNestea does it. He's going to fall back. He needs to pull these overloads back. He can fall back to this base easily, but it looks like this base at the top might fall. But no, he's pulling drones. IMNestea wants to keep this base alive. 7 more roaches coming out. And looks like ROONRAZOR is going to just sacrifice those stalkers. It looks like these are alive here, but I don't know. He's not microing this army at all, and he just lost all those stalkers to just drones and roaches. That was some poor micro there by ROONRAZOR, but more reinforcements are on the way. He doesn't have any probes. Bring more units. He's forced to rally them across the map. That's not going to be good. He's bringing a probe to bring in another proxy pylon. Now we see ROONRAZOR actually doing some stutter step micro here with those stalkers, playing them to their advantage, but we have more Zerglings out and about, and they're going to be able to deal some damage here in the front of these stalker zealots now finally showing up. And wow, look at that, quickly microing those Zerglings away from those zealots. Really nice play there by IMNestea. Roach now coming up for reinforcements, but unfortunately, ROONRAZOR now has a lot of zealots out. Zealots dealing against roaches is not going to work out too good. And this has just been a constant battle back and forth since ROONRAZOR decided to go for this attack. And 14 more Zerglings. We just had constant army protection from IMNestea, and he's just fighting this back, and it looks like he's going to end up breaking it now. Finally, as soon as he kills off the rest of these Stalkers, and he's going to try getting us around there. Very good micro from IMNestea. He's going to pick off all of those Stalkers, and you can see these reinforcements from ROONRAZOR is now on the retreat. And IMNestea fought that off. That was, I don't know, there were some moments there where I didn't know if he was going to hold there or not, but it just came down to the unit choices each players were deciding to go with. We saw so many Stalkers there being warped in from ROONRAZOR, and IMNestea just kind of adjusted and made all those Zerglings and just tried to broke out there and just made just enough roaches to deal damage, causing those Stalkers to fall back with the Zerglings there in the front. Really good play there by IMNestea. He played that just perfectly. And I don't think ROONRAZOR had I don't think his army composition was mixed up enough to deal with this Zergling roach play from IMNestea. So let's check the harvester count after that big battle. It looks like IMNestea has fallen back behind 48 or 47 for ROONRAZOR and 38 for IMNestea. But IMNestea is on 3 bases here, and he's got queens rolling out, so he can easily catch up here. He still hasn't even teched up to layer at this point. IMNestea here is still on layer, and ROONRAZOR has got blink now out. Is no DT shrines coming out? DT would just be amazing here because he's not even close to teching to layer. And another attack is on the way. He does have blink, so he can micro against those Stalkers a little, or those roaches a little bit better. But he's got those Zerglings to worry about. Zealots up in the front, now going to take for that. Zerglings scooting around, focusing on those Stalkers to the top. So many roaches. Look at all those roaches. He's got 25 roaches out, only 4 Zerglings. Those Stalkers are going to be forced to fall back because they have no more defense. He's just trying to blink and pick off as many Zerglings as he can. But it looks like IMNestea's going to stay back, fall back to the safeness of his creep and spine crawlers. And IMNestea is kind of pretty well safe at this point. He still hasn't teched at this point. I don't know, if I was a Zerg player, I'd be so scared of DTs coming to my base, but I guess he just is aware of how much pressure he's getting from ROONRAZOR, and he knows that there's a very low possibility of DTs. And now he's going to finally start taking up the layer, and IMNestea's probably going to fall back there because he doesn't have roach speed, and he really can't deal with Stalkers with blink at this point. ROONRAZOR getting a very large number of Stalkers, and he's finally now putting up his 3rd, and we got a pylon down here. Of course, warping any reinforcements if IMNestea decides to do a run by with some Zerglings to pick that off. And wow, look at the timing of IMNestea. He just knows. IMNestea just knows. He's like, all right, I think there's an expansion down here. Probably happened about, I don't know, 30 seconds ago. I'm gonna go check just to make sure. And he's gonna see it. That is just disgusting. How he's like, oh, there's probably an expansion. I'll go look now. And he's going to see it. And we have another attack going on here. Stalker's trying to just blink micro against those spine crawlers. And these Zerglings are flanking from behind. Oh my god, IMNestea, you're disgusting. What is this? Flanking with the Zerglings. These Stalkers are now forced to blink through the Zerglings. And he just picked off quite a few Stalkers there. And got a lot of them low on the shields, that's for sure, and low on their life. And there's so many roaches there. As soon as that roach speed finishes, that's just going to be disgusting. And here we go. IMNestea's like, oh, I knew it was there, but I just had to make sure. IMNestea, who are you? What are you doing here? And alright, he's got +1 attack coming for his Zerglings, which is going to be nice. Picking off that creep terminal is going to be really good with there. And just going to have some blink harass here, just picking off as many Zerglings as possible, using that blink to the best advantage. And continuing to fall back. His +2 is almost finished. He's got some more photon cannons on the way. But IMNestea, as soon as he gets that glial reconstitution, this is going to be a whole different ball game with those +1 attack upgrades. I think we're going to see IMNestea just go for a really huge attack here as soon as both of these upgrades finish on this Protoss player, because he is sticking just a straight up Blink Stalker. And unless he gets something else in the mix here, those as soon as those upgrades finish, I think IMNestea is just going to be able to completely break him. So he's got this 3rd up and going here. He hasn't transferred any guys over, but it looks like still producing probes. He's kind of a little gave up on probe production for the time being. Not producing probes out of there. There's the transfer. That's what I was looking for. These guys have more Blink Stalkers going to come to press, going to try and pick off a roach or two, pick off some Zerglings, force IMNestea to throw some Zerglings up in the front. But I don't know if IMNestea's going to buy it. He may just sacrifice that spine crawler and falling back, blinking back. And we have 30 Zerglings coming out, Aspire, and now plus attack 3 for this Protoss player. And see how much gas is he on? He's on like 6 gas, I think, at this point. So he can, actually he's on 5 so far, but he's going to be on 6 pretty soon. And ROONRAZOR has some cannons over here to do a little bit of defense, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. IMNestea's going to have a huge army here as soon as all these Zerglings get out. And he's putting his Zerglings around here at the top, and he's looking like he's going to flank again, putting one Zergling up here. Look at this scouting. Oh, it's so good. Look at that. He's just going to see it, and he's going to flank. You can see in the minimap those Zerglings are on the way. These roaches. Nestea's like, come on in. Come on in. It's nice. It's warm in here. And there's the blink is happening. And oh no, he's blinking before the Zerglings show up. And now those Zerglings are just going to eat him alive with those +1 attack upgrades. Those roaches now have roach speed. And more Zerglings coming in from the back there, picking off reinforcements. And he blinks into the... Oh my god, the Zerglings. And Nestea is just eating him alive. Oh my gosh. Nestea just crushes that army. This plays us so well. It's like I don't even know how you could play this any better. Nestea just completely rocking this. And he's like, you know what, I'll come in here, deal as much damage as possible to my roaches. I don't even care if I lose him. ROONRAZOR now is kind of falling back at this point. He's still doing a little bit of blink. Actually missed one or two there, but these roaches are now being sacrificed. But you know what, Nestea doesn't care. He's got more units coming. Look at all these Zerglings just flooding in here. And you can see the mini-map, just the stream of red dots across the mini-map. ROONRAZOR is actually, looks like he's going to actually push this back. So Nestea maybe overextending himself there just a little bit without those Zergling reinforcements. Maybe he was so low on larva or whatnot, but Zergling's still being rallied over there. He's going to have to fall back. I thought Nestea was actually going to be able to wrap it up there, but he might have not had enough money. It looks like his money is pretty low, so he may have ran out of money there to continue this attack, but he's going to rebuild his forces. But that +3 attack is going to be on the way. That's going to be disgusting for this Protoss player to have +3 attack there on those Blink Stalkers, and we have a Dark Shrine also out. +2 melee attack upgrade. More Zerglings are on the way for Nestea, and this attack is just going back and forth. Zerglings now kind of come out blinking away. And staying away from those Zerglings. Don't want to get too close to those Zerglings. These things are dealing a lot of damage, 6 damage there. And it looks like there we do. He's going to try and get another flank in for those Zerglings. And these roaches are going to deal some serious damage. Zerglings up the front, just mowing down those Stalkers. And ROONRAZOR is losing quite a few Stalkers in this case. He's doing some decent blink micro. But let's look at the life on all those Stalkers. They're just so low. Roaches just pushing them through to the front. It looks like he's ran out of Zerglings at this point. This is where the fight easily switches back to the favor of the Stalkers. As while those Zerglings are alive, Nestea seems to be really doing a lot of damage, but as soon as those Zerglings do die, it seems like the Stalkers just easily take that over, and oh man, the +3 attack is done. These Stalkers are doing a lot of damage, and they're just in here, just wrecking the base of Nestea. He's going to be forced to pull drones once again. This reminds me of earlier in the game. Drones now out and doing some attack on those things. Unfortunately, don't have the plus attack upgrade that the Zerglings do. That would be pretty nice if they did, but they don't. And now he's just going to sacrifice a bunch of drones for that. And DTs are also out. Oh no, this is going to be really bad. He's going to have DTs in his base, and I don't think he's got a Overseer out. Is his attack upgrades? Oh no, that's going to get canceled. That's going to be bad news if he loses that. Zerglings are now brought out. Oh, he does get that. He kills off that Evolution Chamber, blinking back. And now Zerglings in front, and the Roaches. Oh, this is not looking good for Nestea. Oh my gosh, I thought he was going to have this game in the bag, but man, it looks like that last attack where he pushed all the way across the map, he overextended, just lost the majority of his forces. Oh no, these DTs may seal the deal up here, and they're just going to mow through here. 4 Grim Reapers in your base, everybody's going to die. And here back here at the front, just some pretty decent blink micro, and it's just 3 attack upgrades, and Nestea GG's. Oh my gosh, wow. So ROONRAZOR just being completely diligent this game, just pressure, 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 blink shocker micro, and wow. But Nestea played amazing. I just can't, just like going from a 6 pool into macro game, and then just so that his plays are just so well thought out there. And I think where he went wrong was this final attack here. I bet he thought he could break him. I thought he could break him, but it didn't end up working. He just couldn't reinforce with enough Zerglings just to keep the fodder for those Roaches, because you could see as soon as the Zerglings die, the Roaches easily die off quickly to Blink Stalker micro, even with Roach speed, just because there's so many Stalkers to deal with. And ROONRAZOR played that very well with those Blink Stalkers, and that was just a really awesome PvZ here on Shakira's Plateau. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I loved it. I love seeing Nestea play Zerg. It's just awesome. So even though he lost, I think he played extremely well, and he has to be proud of this game. That's it for me. I'll see everybody later.